Hello, and welcome to our Unreal Engine 4 tutorial series, Setting Up the Project. So let's get started. First, open your Epic Games Launcher and hit the plus icon here on engine versions of your library. When you hit it, you'll have an option of installing a new engine. You can choose your install location on the Browse tab. You'll select the folder and Options. You can select the path, hit install. Since I have one, I will cancel it. We were using 4.26. While you're monitoring the downloads, you just hit the downloads tab and you can see all your downloads happening. Okay, let's hit launch. Here, and select to create a new project, you can see your projects you have already built. You can see games, that's what we're going to select. Hit next. We want the blank template for your blueprints. Hit next. Default settings blueprint, maximum quality, ray tracing disabled, no starter content. In your folder, hit the three dot icon and select the folder you want to go. I have selected the tutorial folder on my desktop. Select folder and name your project. I'm going to name mine tutorial. You can name yours whatever you want. Hit create project. This could take a little bit, but just give it some time. Okay, don't worry about these plugins here. We're going to deal with those later. I want you to come down here to view options. Make sure you have your developers content, engine, and plugins content selected. Hit this tab here and you can see all the content. If you have plugins or anything else, it'll be showing up in here. We'll worry about the project settings later, but first I want you to come over and go to Editor Preferences. This will adjust your game engine, but I want you to do the Asset Editor Open Location and select the drop-down menu Main Window. This will put all our blueprints and files as a tab in the top menu. You can make any adjustments, but I would like for you to type in long and go to enable support for long paths over 250 characters. Hit that as true. Okay, clear that out. Now we go to our project settings. Go to description. If you have a thumbnail that you would like to use, you select it here. For description, you can type in whatever the game is. Like you could put in tutorial, but it'll confuse your title. You could say, this is a Mario clone. This is an ARPG. This is a super awesome third-person shooter or first-person shooter, whatever you want to name it. Give it the actual name. This is your game title. So I'm going to put tutorial, the game. Then select your project version. On here, we're not going to touch it though. Put your company name. Since my company is Psycho Dragon Studios, I'm going to put Psycho Dragon Studios. You can put anything else in here you would like. You can make any adjustments, but for right now, we're going to go down to maps and modes, and we're going to start setting this stuff up. First thing we're going to do is the map. So come down to your content browser, create a new folder, type in maps. Hit OK. And go to File. You can do Save Current or Save Current As because you do not have a map. Select your maps. Type in LV as in Victor, L for level, underscore, and give it a name. I'm going to name mine Playground because this is literally where we're going to test all our mechanics throughout the series. Come over here and we're going to hit the arrow key. So to do that, let's highlight the file, hit the arrow key for game setup or in editor startup. These will basically determine when we load up a game or the editor which map loads up. Let's create a new folder for data, another folder for blueprints, and one more folder for core. This is the core files we need to create the game. So let's come here to World Settings tab, hit the plus icon. Make sure instead of saying Blueprints, we hit Data Blueprints Core. Type in GM for Game Mode, underscore, and give it the title of your game. Press OK. Hit from the drop-down menu. Instead of hitting a default pawn class, plus icon, we're going to create a character class. Otherwise, we would get a pawn. Our character is a pawn, but it has more options. So hit the blueprint class characters and type in CH, your game title, and then master. This will be the master class for our character in the game. Create a child, CH tutorial. Instead of master child, let's call this one player. With this one, hit the arrow key for default pawn. This is our default player. From here, let's go ahead and add a component. Type in spring arm and give it the name camera boom. Let me fix that here. Okay. If it highlighted, add another component, call it the camera. Select your camera boom. Let's bring it up to 90 degrees on the Z axis of location. Compile and save. Okay, go to your tutorial master. And for the mesh, let's go ahead and put in 90 degrees on the, or negative 90 on the Z for location and rotation. Compile and save. We'll probably do some more tweaking later on. Don't worry about that. If you want to go ahead and do some tweaks because you know this part already, by all means do so. Go back to, well, actually save all. Okay, so let's create the HUD. This will govern all our widgets. We'll deal with that later, but right now we want to create it. So type in HUD tutorial or whatever your game is and make sure it's in the Data Blueprints Core folder. We want to keep all these in the same folder. Okay, save, click out of there. Go ahead and close these down too. Next, we're going to make the player controller. So hit plus, Data, Blueprints, Core, PC for player controller, and your game title. We'll be putting all our inputs and player functions here. Now we got these done. We could go ahead and make a game state, a player state, but we're really not going to worry about those. I rarely use them. If someone asks, I will try and make one. But let's go back to project settings and hit the game instance. Make sure it's in data core and hit GI for game instance and your title. This will govern all our functions and variables that will transfer between maps throughout the game. Go ahead and save that. You can close that. And there you have it. We'll go into manage plugins later, but let's save everything. And I hope you enjoyed setting up our project. And stay tuned for more tutorials. Please hit like and subscribe if you would like more, and leave a comment for any suggestions.